Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We're here again, episode 177 of the Michael Lab Show. We're doing it big. Not really. But how's everyone doing? Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful day. It is the 23rd of March, third day of spring. Spring has sprung, and we are entering a time of the year where the flowers start making an appearance, where smiles start becoming abundant, but in this case, still behind a mask, which is all good, man. These masks are all good. It's what we got to do to keep grandmas alive, keep hospitals nice and low in capacity, and to keep COVID at bay. I think I saw a report that somebody was saying, like, COVID's going to be gone by July. I don't know. That sounds completely false. And that also sounds like this video just got taken down from YouTube. Yeah, man, everyone's getting vaccinated. I know people are sneaking around going to different states to get vaccinated. I just signed up for my vaccine. I put a comorbidity there of overweight, which was nice because I am overweight. If I eat a solid pizza, if I eat a good pizza, like an extra large, extra cheese pizza with maybe with ranch, and I have maybe a Reese's and a Ben and Jerry's with a Coke, I could definitely get up to obese. And then I could definitely probably jump the line for my vaccine, which is pretty awesome. Now, I don't know. I think that's kind of counterintuitive to make yourself fatter so you can get yourself a vaccine, because being fat is kind of anti-vaccine. Like, you don't want to be fat because that decreases your chances of getting smoked by COVID. But I don't know. I'm playing by the rules. I'm obese, almost obese. I'm definitely overweight. I'm a chunky monkey, weighing 200 pounds, is 5'11", 3/4. That's my morbidity. So hopefully we get the vaccine. We'll see, man. I'm ready to travel. I'm ready to get the hell out of here. Ready to get life going again. It's fast. I feel like I haven't spoken to you guys in a long time. How was your weekend? I spent all weekend working. It's been good lately. A few things have happened since I last spoke to everybody. So I do a podcast Monday and Wednesday. So from Wednesday to Monday, I don't do a podcast. So, like, there's a lot of life that happens for me between Wednesday to Monday. So, like, my Wednesday podcast or my Thursday podcast usually isn't as impressive as my Tuesday podcast, just simply because I have less to talk about. But over the weekend, one thing I just want to talk about, this one thing real quick, and this is where I was very, very perplexed by this story, because I'm always perplexed by humans, and I'm very confused with the statement. So I don't know if you guys saw this in the news. This happened a while ago. Papa John's, man, this guy just does not. He's always making news. So this was from The Guardian. So Papa John's was he is the CEO, or he was the CEO and founder of Papa John's. Papa John's founder alleges former laundry service CEO is caught on tape conspiring to send him out to pasture. So this guy was canceled a few years back for saying the N-word. I forget what the context was of him saying it, but it doesn't matter. You just can't say the N-word. Like, as a white person, you can't say that word because that word represents suppression. It suppresses the days when African Americans were under slavery in this country. And it's just not your word to say. There's never a circumstance where you can say the N-word. That's just the truth. And it causes, you can't say it. Obviously, I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but you do have to say it because people like John Schnatter, he was canceled for saying the N-word. Obviously, good, get out of here, stop talking. He went on a interview, OAC, which is a very, very far right OAC news. I think it was news. Alexander, no, not the OAC. Maybe it wasn't OAC. I forget what news channel it is. But it's the American one. Anyways, he went on a news interview, and I don't know what type of question they asked him. He resigned in 2018 as the chairman CEO after an explosive report by Forbes detailed a conference call in which he used the N-word and reflected on his early life in Indiana, where he said people used to drag African Americans from trucks until they died, which is true. I used to lay in bed just going, how did they do this? He said. And so here we go. This is what he said on the interview. He said, quote, and we've had 3 goals for the last 20 months. He's talking about himself. To get rid of the N-word in my vocabulary, in dictionary, and everything else, because it's just not true. Figure out how they did this and get on with my life. So a few things here. The first glaring thing that is very concerning is the attempt to stop using a word. When you are a drug addict, a heroin addict, and you say you spent the last 20 months trying to stop using a drug, it's plausible, right? Because it's a drug, it's a chemical addiction, it's your body goes into withdrawal if you don't take it, or whatever it is. It makes perfect sense. But when you're talking about a word, and if you can't stop saying a word, there's only 2 options, or there's only one option. There's only one option. You're racist. And it sucks because he just keeps on coming up, and he keeps on being attached to Papa John's. And it's like, first of all, how did Papa John's not get canceled? And how does he still get airtime? There was a podcast I watched the whole thing, with Ethan Klein, H1H3 or H3H3, I think it's called, H3H3 podcast. And they had him on, and the guy was crazy. Like, he's legit. He's a crazy person. He's a crazy person. And it was just, I don't know. I saw that, and it made me upset that he is, first of all, still out there using the N-word, and second of all, that he's still getting news time. Like, this guy needs to just be gone. That's cool. Just spilled all over myself. That's awesome. That's fantastic. But it is, that's what we do. That's what we do. We let people like that to have a platform, which sucks. You can't use that word. So what else? So I have been doing a quote unquote side hustle lately. So why am I doing this? Okay, let me just think real quick. Let me just gather my thoughts real quick. Why am I doing this? Okay, so over the past 6 months, I've been able to take a significant amount of money and store it away into investments. I've been able to build up a savings account that I'm proud of. I've been able to establish a healthier credit. I've been able to establish a healthier spending habit. I've been able to establish I've been able to balance my income to debt ratio. I've basically been able to gain a significant amount of knowledge when it comes to finances. And it's given me a superb amount of confidence, I think, which I think is something that all people can learn from. If you can manage your expenses, if you can manage your income, it will change your life. And it's not because money is the root of happiness, but it's because, and I say the root of happiness because a lot of people say the root of all evil, and I completely 100% disagree. I think evil comes with having too much money, but I also think evil comes from not having any money. So let's get rid of this whole stigma against making money. Let's promote it. Let's teach people. Let's also look at it from this perspective. People who have money, people who are very wealthy, you don't hear them complaining about having too much money. People who have no money, they complain about not having any money. So when people say Money doesn't bring you true happiness. Money doesn't bring you, it's the root of all evil. Money's not the answer to all your problems. Let's pause before we say that and realize what we're saying. For you to say something like that, you have had money, you have money, or you're making money. And it's a very, very, very privileged statement to make, because a lot of people who are attempting to make money, they are trying to make money because they know that once they have money, it's going to free up their time. It's going to make their life just a little bit easier. So I hear that all the time, and it makes me kind of cringe a little bit, because what you don't actually realize what you're saying is all the people who are poor and are trying so hard to get out of the mud to make money. Hey man, you don't need it. But like, they do need it. You do need money to live a easier life in this country. I've taken a complete, like, I used to believe in that. I used to literally think money was not the answer to happiness, but it is. It gives you freedom. And it also gives you something to work towards. Like, a lot of people live a life where they don't have goals, they don't have responsibilities, and the ability to make money is definitely a responsibility. And it's a hard responsibility to establish, and it's one that's complicated. And because it's complicated, it teaches you how to, teaches you how to hold how to set goals, accomplish goals, and live a more responsible life. So I found myself going like, okay, I'm making this amount of money, I'm paying off these amount of bills, I can invest this much. And I was talking to Taylor, and she said something that I was like, when she said it, I was like, oh my God, that's awesome that you realize that. It's like, basically, if you live your job is just a trade-off for income. Like, right, let's all just kind of establish a few things. You go to college to find a job that you enjoy, that you think you enjoy, but you also go to college to make more money. That's the whole reason why you go to college. Because the jobs that pay you more are the jobs that require a higher education. So you go to college to get a job that will pay you more money. Okay, so you're trading your time for money. And if you go to college for a longer time, it's a longer investment. You're trading in more time to make more money. But it's a long-term investment. And so once you graduate and you get your job, now it's no longer a long-term investment. Now it's just a 1-for-1. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. Every hour you put in, you get $20 in return. Every hour you put in, you get $25 in return. Every hour you put in, you get $50 in return. So you could break down the amount of hours you work, and then, the salary that you get paid, and your money that you're making is directly correlated with the amount of time that you're putting in. So how can you do something in your life to get out of that trap? Because in my opinion, the lifestyle you live will ultimately dictate the amount of money you have. And the thing that sucks is that if you go to college and you get this job, you're establishing a lifestyle where you require more. So even when you get that job, you're requiring that job to pay you $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a year, because you have this debt that needs to be paid off. And especially if you're out of college, you get married, you get a car, you get a house. Now you're dealing with a debt times 4, times 3, because you got 3 extra debts plus your college debt. So that job's never going to catch up. That you literally set yourself up for the inability for your time to ever catch up to you. So what do you do about this? What do you do? And by the way, I'm not a financial advisor at all, at all. And if you take any of my advice, please don't. This is just what I do, and I'm being dead serious. This is just what I do. So this is not advice for you. So how do you get around that time equals money? So you have to do things that can pay you when you're not focusing on them, when you're not trading your time for them. And the way you do that is you get the money that you have made because of the time you put in. For me, the money I make at a job, my hourly job at the gym, I take that money. Let's just say I get paid $1,000, let's just say I get paid $1,000 let's just say I get paid $1,000 a month. Okay, so what do I do? How do I deal with that? Okay, so I can get paid $1,000 a month, and if I go ahead and do my balance sheet, and let's say my expenses are $900. Okay, that includes everything. That includes groceries. That includes rent. That includes the car payments, insurance, all that. Okay, so I have $100 left over. $100. So what can I do with that? Well, people say, oh, that's entertainment money. Okay, that's fine. But if you use all that money for entertainment, whether it be the bar, whether it be drinks, whether it be a movie, whether it be a concert, sorry, that was disgusting, whatever it is, you've spent that $100. Another month comes around, it's $1,000 again. So you see a pattern where you're not storing money away. You're not storing a money away. And let's just say you are storing a $25 extra each month away, but you're putting it into a savings account that accumulates no extra money, that might have a 0.01% interest rate, that will make you literally a penny each year on $1. That's it. A penny. So nothing at all, not even worth your time. So you need to escape that. And there's two ways to escape that. There's three ways. Make more money at your current job, but don't raise up your expenses. Keep your expenses the same as your bonuses and your pay increases go up. 2, get another job where you can trade in more time to make more money and treat that job as just money to throw away. Into 3rd, an investment. So now you can take your income and then you can also start investing your money, whether it be in the market, whether it be in stocks, ETFs, which is what I do, or real estate. You can also do real estate too. Like there's that option also. And I think that's very important, where you can trade time for money, so much so, but also take that money and switch it into a place that will pay you as you're trading time for money somewhere else. And that's where I'm going to go here. So what I did is I realized I was doing really well. I was trading time for money, and I was also doing really well at cutting down my expenses to just the bare minimum I need, not spending money on anything, taking literally down to the dollar and investing it to the point where now I'm going to get an 8% return on the average each year. So I put away $100,000, or let's just say I put down, $10,000, whatever it is. I'm going to be getting a $800 return each year. And then as you put down more money, the returns are higher and higher and higher. That way you don't live a whole life where it's a 1-to-1 ratio of time, money. Now it's a 2-to-1 ratio. You're trading your time, maybe not 2-to-1 ratio, but you're trading your time for money, taking that money is the 3rd step, taking that money, paying yourself first, aka assets, and then paying yourself later. So what did I do? I looked up things, Uber and all these things, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So I was like, let's do DoorDash. So, and this is not a promotion for DoorDash. I was talking to one of my buddies at the gym, and I was like, hey man, what are you doing with your life? I just haven't spoken to him for a while. Just wanted to catch up with each other. I was like, hey man, what are you doing with your life? I'm just interested because I like to see where my friends are, especially friends that are out of high school. I like to just see what's everyone doing? Are you happy with your life? Is your life going well? Is this where you saw yourself when you graduated high school? Just what's going on? And I spoke to this person, and he was saying that he went back to college. He's going to school for his accounting degree. And he told me, for work, I'm just door dashing. I was like, really? And I've always wanted to do DoorDash. Like I had the app before he even told me. I had the Uber app. I had the Postmates app. Like I have all these apps to make money in the gig economy through my car. I just didn't have the balls to do it. And I was nervous. I was super nervous to do it. And I made up all these excuses why I shouldn't do it. I mean, even to the point where I thought I was too good for it, like honestly. And then I talked to him, and he's a great guy, and he's doing it. I was like, Mike, you're just a privileged, ignorant piece of crap. Like, you just do it. So I asked him, how much do you make? And he was like, dude, if I do 20 hours, I make like $400. I was like, damn, that's pretty good. That's not bad. What's that? $20 an hour? Right? 20 times 20. 20 times 20. Yeah, that's not bad at all. And then you got to add gas in there. So it probably comes to like $14 to $16 an hour. Track your mileage, tax deduction at the end of the year. It's really good money. And I was like, what if I just do 10 extra hours maybe a week? 5 extra hours a week? If I just do 20 extra hours a month, that's extra $400, about $350, $300 more a month. If I put an extra $300 into my my portfolio, like that's big money. I like to pull this up for people. Calculator. So let me just pull this up real quick because I like to show people this because I want people to realize that this is like, to me, this is like very, very important. Very important. So let's just say I'm starting out with $10,000. I have $10,000 to invest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. After 10 years, 9% return, just say the S&P. Okay. Additional, let's say right now, before I started doing DoorDash, let's just say I could only afford to put $200 away. Okay. Only $200. And we're contributing this at the beginning of each month. Okay. So after 10 years, I have $61,890. Okay. So I turned a $10,000 investment, putting $200 a month into my, my portfolio. At the end of, by the time I'm 34, I'm going to have $62,000 to my name. Okay. So let's just say I DoorDash. Let's say I make an extra $300 a month, which is conservative because there's going to be times during the summer where I can work all the time up until I got to go to my real job. And let's just say $350 on average each month. Take it from the times I'm in school, take the times I'm working in summer. So an extra $350 on top of my $200 that I've already been able to stipend out for. $350 plus $200, $350, $550. So we went from $61,890 by the age of 34 all the way up to $128,000. I've doubled my income. Now let's just see 20 years. Let's just see by 50 years old. So that's 26 years from now. Stick it to $200 pre-DoorDash money. $328,740. Let's add DoorDash money. $740,000. And this is what I think is super important. And I do this so much. I do this up to the point where it's probably exhausting for people. Because I know my podcast is a little bit redundant. Like I speak a lot about certain things, but I speak about the things that I find super important. Like I really do. And I know, and like, trust me, I'm not dumb. Like I know I have people who watch this podcast. I have people who view my Instagram stories. I have people in my life who know me personally. They either know me from school, they know me from being a friend, even a family member that listen to my podcast and they just roll their eyes at everything I say. Like what are you talking about, Mike? Like you live with your parents, you're dumb, like whatever it is. And that's fine. Like you got to realize that's fine with me. Let me put my pillow on my seat like that. That's better. Now I'm higher up. And like that's totally fine with me. I have no issue with being the dumb guy. I have no issue with being like the motivational guy. I have no issue with being like the dude who makes all the mistakes. Like that's fine with me. That's kind of what part of me almost like invites that. Like I do, the way I kind of do things. I invite it. I put up crazy things on my Instagram stories. I do 2 podcasts a week. I talk about myself. Like I'm from the outside looking in, I probably am just like, this guy's a complete jerk. But I can guarantee you one thing. If you talk to me, I really do believe I'm one of the nicer people you'll meet. I'll make you feel like you're an important person because you are. Like I do this because I really care about people. I have people close to my life who I know if they just made one freaking change, if they just did this one thing, if they just turned this knob a certain way, or if they go left instead of right, or if they put this in your bank account instead of that in your bank account, if they don't do that, if they don't do this, their life will change exponentially. And I know I shouldn't worry about that. I shouldn't worry about other people. I should just focus on me. But I'm almost empathetic to a fault. I want people to do well. That's why I sit up here and I talk to people. I talk to thousands, 10,000 plus people since I started this podcast. Have listened to me talk. And I want people to do well, and I want people to be confident. I want people to be happy, and I want people to be financially sound, like I'm becoming. And it's like I'm not trying to show off, but what I'm trying to do is tell people to do these things. do, like, I just know that it will make you feel better inside. The confidence you build when you can financially guide your own self and you don't need other people, it's a game changer. And take your ego, crush it up in a ball, and throw it away. DoorDash if you have to, Uber if you have to, like, work at 7-Eleven if you have to. I just think it's very important. I know for me, I let my ego get the best of me for a year. I could have been DoorDashing through the entire pandemic. I could have DoorDashed plus unemployment plus my job. Like, I would be farther than I already am. I put an absurd amount of money away in investing. I could have doubled it. And I think people just need to take these opportunities right now while you're 24, 23. If you're 18, listen to what I'm saying. It will help you tremendously. I'm telling you right now, it will help you tremendously. It will make you feel better, make you more confident about it being. It will just make you more confident of a person. But also, I understand if you don't listen, because it's hard. There's a balance of being a human, right? There's a lot of balance. There's a balance between your relationship. There's a balance between your job. There's a balance between friendship. There's a balance between being a son, a daughter, a balance from being a college student, a balance from being a boss, a balance from being an individual. There's a balance that we all have to play. And I think by human nature, you want to fit in. And I think there's a shame that comes with doing things that, I think the moment you say that you do something like DoorDash or Uber, you're saying that you don't have enough. And that stigma will keep people poor forever. People don't work at 7-Eleven because they think they're better than, they think that somebody might say this about them. Like, you can't do that. Like, I'm a 24-year-old dude. I've only ever worked as a dishwasher, as a server, and a front desk employee. I have no shame in that. No shame in that. I worked DoorDash. I was a paper boy. I don't even have my degree yet. And I think it's important for people to realize that you don't need to just live a life where you're just trading your time for money. You can break away from that. You can break away from that very quickly too. If you just spend 5 years of your life putting $10,000 away in your investment account, dude, and you start at 20, by 25, you have $50,000. By 30 years old, you have $100,000 invested plus some. Like, I just want to just do this example real quick, just so I can show you guys. If you're a 20-year-old out there and you don't know what you want to do with your life, let's just start with a simple $1,000 bank account. Let's just put $1,000 in investment. Just pure S&P 500. You're 20 years old, but you don't know what you want to do, but you want some money, right? And let's just say you can only put away $50 a month. Just $50 a month, beginning of each month. Okay? And let's just say you work at McDonald's. Hey, 20-year-old, if you're listening out there, you have $12,000 by the age of 30. You have $12,000 already. And I think that's a very important concept for you to understand. Let's say you bump it up to $100. Kid, you're starting your 30s with $22,000 in your bank account. Average savings account in America. 2020, the average American has $66,000 in their savings account. Here we go. 71% of Americans have a savings account. Only 71%. Most Americans, 22%, have 1,000 to 5,000 savings. If you start at 20, by 30, you already have more than that. Quadrupled more than that. The Federal Reserve reports that 39% of Americans don't have enough money on hand to cover $400 emergency. 56% of Americans have 5,000 or less in savings, while a third have 1,000 or less. 33% has less than $1,000 in savings. And this isn't because they're lazy. This isn't because they're bad individuals. This isn't because they're lazy, like they're bad people. This is simply because no one taught them how to financially be literate. They didn't teach them that you could do things that are outside of just trading time for money. They don't teach you about the market. They don't teach you about real estate. They don't teach you about the bond market. They don't teach you about side hustles that you can do. They just teach you to strictly do this. High school, pay attention starting junior year, get yourself a nice scholarship to a school. So they pay for some of your college, but they still charge you $200,000. Get that nice and by the way, the college system is completely broken. If someone from Towson is listening to this, or Harvard, you got to understand, it's completely broken. The colleges that are considered really good colleges, going to a really nice college is such a privilege. Like, being able to decide what college you want to go to is such a privilege. Most of America doesn't have that option. Harvard's, Stanford's, MIT's, NYU, these colleges, even Maryland and Tech, these colleges are so expensive. Only the people who are already at the top 10% can go to those colleges. So if you're already at the top 10%, you get accepted to a Harvard because you could pay for it. The cycle continues. And if you're at the bottom 10%, and you might just be just as smart as everybody else going to Harvard or MIT or NYU or Drexel or Brown or Princeton, whatever it is, you might be just as smart. They'll make up these BS things saying, oh, well, the curriculum isn't as difficult as it is compared to like a school in Severna Park, compared to like a school in I don't know, East LA. Like, and then they can use that as an excuse why you can't get into the school. But meanwhile, it's because those schools are so expensive, only certain people can pay for them. So the colleges that poor people, middle class people can get to are the schools that maybe they don't have the best connections. So the cycle continues. The cycle continues at colleges, same place to tell you that damn people for contributing to this, to the systematic setup that we have in this country. Those colleges are the biggest players in the game. The biggest players in the game. I'm telling you, man, it's disgusting. And the only way you can escape it, is to be able to set it up for yourself. Treat yourself as your own business. Take your own sheet. Literally take a sheet of paper or download Mint. It's an app. It's called Mint, and it's your own personal finance. It tells you your debt to income ratio. Learn what that is. Learn how much money you're making. Learn how much money you can save. Learn how much money, if you invest by this age, you can have this much. By this age, you can have that much. If you bump it up a little bit, add an extra $100 a month. It's sad, man. The average American only has a savings account of $30,500, man. 3 out of 4 people keep at least some of their savings at a brick and mortar bank. 55% of people with a savings account have more than one. About half of respondents said they have an account. The median withdrawal due to COVID is $1,000, while the mean is $3,000. It's sad. It's scary. You don't want to see that, but I think it's just it's never going to change. Unfortunately, 56% of Americans have $5,000 or less in savings, when the average American's monthly expenses are $5,100. God. It's sad, man, and it's, I'm a big believer in self-responsibility. I think a lot of things you have to be responsible for a lot of your actions, right? But sometimes the way things are set up is it takes a lot to look outside, to look over the wall, and to peek over the wall and be like, man, they're screwing us up here. It takes a lot. It's not easy. I don't know. I just want people to do well. I want people to be happy. I want people to feel confident about their decisions. That's why I go on these rants about money. And I feel like I do it all the time. And I feel like it's super boring to you guys, but it's something that I find very important to do. But that's that. I think that's what I've been doing. DoorDash. That's pretty much all I've been trying to say. I've been doing DoorDash. I have no shame in it. It's fine. The money's okay. It's not the best, but you know what, man? It gives me extra money to go vacation or to invest, so I can spend more time with the people I truly love in the future. So I can trade my time for money, trade my money for more money, and I can do well, because I want to do well and I want you to do well. But what do we have? What's today? Today's the 23rd. We have 8 days left for Women's History Month, and I didn't mention it once. I apologize, girls out there. Let's talk about some of the best females of all time. Who are the top females of all time? Just broad statement. Let's talk about some of these women. The 75 greatest women of all time. From Esquire. This is from 2016. Let's see what we got here. What the heck? Why is it not loading? Come on, women. What are we doing? We gotta load, bro. Bruh? What are we doing? That's up. Number 1 is Sapphor. Sapphor? Sappho. Who is this son of a gun? Let's see who this chick is. But shout out to women out there. Shout out to Serena Williams. She was an archaic Greek poet from the island of Lesbos. Sapphor is known for her lyric poetry written to be sung while accompanied by a lyre. Some of her poems. What's her greatest poem? Sapphor 31. Where can I get it? I want to see. I want to read it to you guys. Girls. Sorry. Oh, he whom sits opposite thee, a deity, lovely art thou, laughing alongside your amour, transforming my countenance, my poor heart, longing for thine love. Mine face whitens, callow in my naivete, speech fails me, things I long to say, fade into abeyance, burning fire dances with me and without, skin ablaze, gods, I love thee, girl. My heart fails me, expiring as I watch you two, too enamored with each other to feel my pain. To feel as I do, my chest constrict, breathe, failing me, gasping for air, I am dying. So shout out to her. That's a cool chick. Number 1. Number 2, don't know, Esther Genevieve. Queen Elizabeth I, Sacagawea. Maud Gonnet inspired this. Had I the heavens embroidered clothes. I don't like this one. Nope, don't like these girls. Don't know. Complicated. Let's click these ones. 12 famous females. I recognize these girls. This is how patriarchal. Yeah. This is how much of a man I am. I don't even recognize these girls' names. Number 1, Jane Austen. Funny story about Jane Austen. Taylor loves Jane Austen. So I'm like, let's meet Jane Austen. Because this is just how dumb I am of a dude. This goes to show how ignorant I am. Let's meet Jane Austen. Some of her favorite books are written by Jane Austen. I think Jane Austen she was Notebook. I think she was Notebook chick. What'd she do? Pride and Prejudice, Persuasion, Emma, Sense and Sensibility. Quote, if I loved you less, I might be able to talk about it more. But she died in 1817. So when I told Taylor that I tried to get tickets, I couldn't get them because she was dead. She laughed at me very hard. Her parents laughed at me very hard. I laughed at myself very hard. It was very funny. I am an ignorant man. She said, the person be a gentleman or lady who has not pleasure in a good novel must be intolerably stupid. I love it. Shout out to you, Jane. Anne Frank. How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. She was a Jew that was locked away in the tunnel. It's one of the most honest, powerful, and pignant accounts of World War II. It was written by a German teenage girl. The Franks were a Jewish family living in Germany, then Austria throughout Hitler's rise to power, the Third Reich, and during the World War II. The family hid in a secret annex with 4 other people throughout the war, but were discovered and sent to a concentration camp in 1944. That's 2 years after the end of World War II. Out of Frank's family, only Anne survived. That chick died in 1945. She didn't do too well. Maya Angelou, quote, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. What a beautiful girl. She wrote the book, I Know Why the Caged Birds Sang. Queen Elizabeth. Chick looks wild. Though the sex to which I belong is considered weak, you would nevertheless find me a rock that bends to no wind. Queen Elizabeth. Shout out to you. You're a woman in history. First queen. Not the first queen. But she is the great-great-grandmother of great-great-great-great-great grandmother, I think, of Queen Elizabeth, who might be slightly racist, but not shocked. Catherine the Great, quote, power without a nation's confidence is nothing. Sojourner Truth. Truth is powerful and it prevails. She's one of the most inspirational black women in America's history, and her words belong to one of the most famous speeches by any woman. An African-American abolitionist and women's rights activist, Truth delivered a now famous speech at the Ohio's Women's Rights Convention in Akron in 1851 that had come to be known as Ain't I a Woman? Rosa Parks sat in the back of the bus, refused to move. I would like to be remembered as a person who wanted to be free, so other people would also be free. Beautiful, beautiful woman. Malala Yousafzai. I tell my story not because it is unique, but because it is the story of many girls. She's 23 years old. She's younger than me. Maria Carey. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. 3 more, then we're done. Just want to get these women, show these women love. Ada Lovelace. The brain of mind is something more than merely mortal, as time will show. She was a mathematician and the world's first computer programmer. Damn. Damn, girl. You computer. Edith Cohen. Women are very desirous of their being placed on absolutely equal terms with men. We ask for neither more nor less than that. She's on a $50 note. Amelia Earhart. Women must try to do things as men have tried. When they fail, their failure must be challenged to others. So, shout out to these women. Shout out to Papa John's. Not that dude needs to go to hell. Save your money, make your money, be well, guys. Thank you so much. I'll catch you guys in episode 178 of the Michael Lab Show. Peace out. See you. Like, comment, subscribe, donate to the podcast. Peace out. See you.